What's going on, teamers? Welcome to DigiPod, the digital podcast. I'm your boy Varney, today in the studio with my boy Dan. What's up?
What's going on?
Yo, I thought Mike was supposed to be on this podcast.
Your vacation?
Hold on. I thought Mike was supposed to be on this podcast with us.
Who?
Like, he's not like in California. He's not traveling. Where the motherfucker at?
He is. He's like, he just said he was on a plane today. I don't know.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, Mike. I don't know. Obviously, I don't pay enough attention, apparently. So, he asked me how my vacation was.
On a plane and they called a doctor because someone needed to take care.
My first day back. Sorry, I'm still getting my mind together. I shut off. I didn't shut off.
Social media.
I turned off all my notifications for Discord last week. I checked it very sparingly. I was on Facebook and Twitter every so often, kind of like part of the doom scrolling things, so to say. But it was a nice vacation away from things that are stress inducing. I know right before I went on vacation, Dan and I were talking about some shit, and there was this one thing that was really setting me off, which is kind of what prompted me to say, all right, fuck it. We're going on a whole social media detox because I don't need any of the stress during my vacation. And it was nice. I didn't work at all. I just had one thing. I was working on an order for someone. So I was printing it and designing it, but I was barely on my computer for the entire week. Normally I'm on my computer 24/7. If you guys don't know, I'm a software developer for work. So I have no choice but to be on my computer 24/7. And then, of course, there's this stuff. So it was really nice. I really enjoyed it. Not to get political, worldly circumstances dictated that we didn't get to go the places that we wanted to go. But the wife and I made the most of it. And it was still a fun time, especially spending it with her. So, here's hoping that the next time we plan a vacation that worldly circumstances don't get in the way of it. But yeah, it was good. Nice detox. I don't like being back in the flow. Wish I was still having nothing to do, but that is not the way the world works. We need to do something. So it is what it is. Mike and Dan were supposed to record a podcast last week, but when Dan said, yo, Mike, let's hop on, Mike was like, What?
That man was like, I'm busy. Busy my ass. You're out there playing One Piece.
So, yeah, I have, this is our, you guys we're recording this on the 23rd. You're going to hear this on the 28th or something. 27th. So yeah,
our pod the pod about EX and I got pushed to last week anyway. So it's not like we had a week of missing pod, but for the people who are members had a missing pod. So it's all right.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's been the happening. What's happening in the DGU space, Dan?
Life. Existing.
Life.
TBL's getting canceled forever and ever. We're shutting down all of DGU. We're shutting down all of DGU. No more YouTube, no more games, no more nothing. We're all quitting Digimon, calling it a day. This is the very last podcast, guys.
Sometimes life would be easier if I just said, fuck it. We just shut everything down and I never have to worry about doing any of this content creation stuff again.
I went on this little spiel prior to TBL starting. I don't know if you saw it at all, Varney.
No, I didn't.
You probably didn't. So I just basically spent 10-15 minutes before TBL started and just explaining the situation with DGU, TBLs and everything. So it's just gonna be just rehashing what I said then, with more your input now because you're officially here and we already talked about it. And yeah, so we gotta switch things around for TBL. Seems like we haven't decided fully yet if we're going to do just one day again versus the two. We might just keep it for two for right now, I think. I'm not sure. And we'll see if Wednesdays keep seeming a little off. We'll just keep it as a Friday, and that's it. And if we go that route, maybe we'll do like different things on a Wednesday where maybe we just stream practice games, play testing, especially since we got more regionals coming up. Stuff like that. Maybe we'll do instead. Stuff like that. With that being said, with the lack of TBLs happening, that kind of threw me off on a loop of recording certain things. So we want to do commentary for finals matches, stuff like that. We can't do that, so I'll be trying to get into a flow and figure out some other content for us to put out. We still have, we keep talking about it, but like it's getting there. I promise it's gonna come out. Y'all gonna see
we
it.
really do promise. It is
Real
right
Digimon
there on the cusp.
coming out. It's right there.
There's a very specific plan that we want to follow before it comes out, and it's almost ready.
We're right there, basically. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 already been edited according to Lucas, and so that's a good thing. We'll be starting probably recording more episodes for that very soon, and then y'all will see that on a weekly schedule, and that's what we wanted. We wanted that series to be a weekly thing and not be some of our
oops, we recorded this week and now we can't get to record another episode, so you guys are gonna have to wait like a month. Yeah,
exactly, because something happens and so on. So we really wanted that to be a weekly thing, and we record those episodes in November.
I don't even know at this point.
December,
it's been a minute,
something like that. It's been a hot minute, and so we wanted to get the first couple of episodes out, set up, and then boom, we're gonna keep recording them. We got Lucas on the schedule of for those as well, and I think it will just be a smooth transition because he's already edited, and so he probably has a layout setup thing going on for editing for those type of things. And then we also have Retro Rumble, which we have multiple episodes recorded for that. I don't think that one's been edited just yet, but again, that's another thing we want to be on a consistent weekly thing, and that will take about a day. Those two will be 2 days right there, and then everything else, like I said, I'm probably just gonna maybe start doing deck profiles of things I've been playing, things I've been testing, stuff like that. I got a couple other ideas we can do. We'll probably just drop a tier list here and there whenever that time comes around for tier list, and figure it out from there. We're just kind of going on the fly because things kind of got thrown off the railings a little bit.
Yeah, so in the interest of, always full disclosure, us, we keep it real, never trying to fool y'all or nothing of the sort. I'll take it back. This started 6 months ago when we came back from hiatus. It's all right. I'll preface this with, because apparently we can be negative at times. The 20 minute, the 20 minute Silk Road rant that we went on. Apparently, the one time.
I thought I was funny. I don't even think it was that serious, but whatever.
I mean, it wasn't 20 minutes, and it wasn't all that negative, but whatever. This one is actually it's going to maybe sound negative, but it's just going to be honest and straightforward and 100%. So, like I said, we keep it real, we keep it 100. When we went on hiatus, back when I was moving, we were at a good point with TBL. We were averaging, 12, 13 people a week.
Yeah.
We definitely had nights where we hit 16, 17, 18 people. It was really good. Unfortunately, as the tournament runner, I couldn't run that in the process of moving houses. I couldn't shoot content in the process of moving houses. Moving houses isn't fun.
Correct.
I didn't realize how much shit I had. And then there was all the work that went into setting up a new house. We went on a hiatus. When we came back, I expected us to, realistically, I expected us to keep the same level of engagement. I expected maybe, we take a dip, but I expected, we still get a consistent 8-10 people. But when we came back, we struggled for attendance. There were nights that it was like 4 or 5 people. There were nights sometimes we didn't fire, and it was tough. It's tough. It's tougher because for us, TBLs are something that we do. We put on the entire presentation. We hop on here. We stream. It's a whole thing. But if you guys have ever streamed, you know when for all of you who have streamed at some point, you know that feeling when you're like, last night I only had 2 viewers, and I've only had 2 viewers for the last X times that I've streamed. I really don't feel like hopping on tonight to stream, but you gotta like you have to put on the face, right? You have to put on the face. You have to show up. It's at the point where it's a job. You have to do your job. Streaming a tournament of 4 people feels like that. It feels like that even worse when you know that you had such heights and you can't even come close, but you don't know what to do. You don't know how to fix it. And so what we did was, first, it was the bump up of pricing. We had gotten the feedback that, well, we don't want to play for playmats. All right, I get it. Everybody has playmats. I have 3D printers. Started offering 3D prints. And I had some boosters to offer. So we started offering booster packs. Helped a little bit, didn't help much.
And tournament packs.
We'll get there because that started with the new series. As Dan put it the one time, I was like ready to like jump off the edge. Dan was trying to talk me off the edge. And by jump off the edge, I don't mean literally. I mean, I was ready to just shut TBLs down 5 months.
Comment section, he definitely was. He was ready. He saw the cliff. He knows the perfect clip where he's just going to take his go off the edge.
I was gonna take my roasted clutch BMW and try to mosey myself off the cliff. Yeah, no.
Do a 360 backwards,
So that was like 4 to 5 months ago. WWE moved to Netflix, and so I was watching a lot of wrestling. And one day, call it a shower thought, whatever, I was just like, damn, what if we try to do a wrestling style TBL? So that's where Brand Warfare came from. And it was really enjoyable. I enjoyed making like the graphics for it. I got these cool intros. I made there's a lot of cool stuff came out of it. And we were good for a while there. And then the problems started coming up again, where barely struggling to fire off a tournament. It's 4 or 5 people. Do we want to stream? We should stream because now, we made a whole thing about we're going to stream these tournaments. It's TBL Ignition. But it's 4 to 5 people. Like, we're going to end up watching a lot of the same decks. It just doesn't feel like there's a lot of variety. And then, from the TL perspective, it's demoralizing. People aren't playing. Why aren't people playing? Yada, yada. So last week when I was away on vacation, Dan asked the Discord a question about like TBL attendance. The general assumption is that money, $10 is too expensive for pricing. Sorry, $10 is too expensive for entry. And that some people would either like to, they would like a half entry night for like half the amount of pricing. For other people, TBL falls on a LGS night for them, so they can't play. And then of course there's always life, whether it's, something's come up, I can't play, like I just can't play anymore, because we've had that. And just various things. And in our community, like I get it. But trying to reach outside the community, trying to bring new players in, that's where it's tough. That's where it's frustrating. Because like, what else can you do? We're doing everything we feel like we can. We are promoting the tournaments. The pricing has been upgraded. Like Dan said, we started offering tournament packs. One of the feedback was that, well, DGU is on online locals. I don't get anything for participation. And, I go and I pay $10 and I get a pack of my locals, yada, yada. We had that come up with Gundam recently. Somebody said exactly that. We have the tournament packs. Offer those for participation. But same problems. So it puts us like in a tough spot. It puts us in a tough spot in two ways. Number one, it puts us in a tough spot financially. The tournaments make enough money to fund themselves. But if I have to keep putting money out of pocket, then the tournaments don't make enough money to fund themselves. There's also something that Lightspeed brought up, which is that, yes, we use the tournaments to pay for our 3/4 time editor, Lucas. And without like having to, once you add another factor into that, it's like, oh, damn, can't pay for X because Y thing was paid for. So, we're at the point where it's like, where do we want to go from here? It's been 6 months. It's been okay, but it could be better. And we're not really sure. Realistically speaking, the thing I proposed to the Discord last night was we can do one of two things. If entry is a barrier, then we can eliminate that barrier to entry. And we can either have a free community night with no pricing. That way anybody can play and there's no pressure to top because it's just playing for fun. Obviously, that takes out the monetary aspect of it. So yeah, we don't gain anything from hosting a tournament, but we hold true to when we started TBLs for the community. So it's not to take TBL away entirely. It's to make it worth everyone's time, to respect everyone's time. The other way was to cut pricing in half, cut entry fee in half. So $5 entry fee. And we'd be taking away the pack pricing because something I said in Discord, we don't have money to drop every set for a case. It's not like maybe if this was like a year ago, we could get away with being like, all right, cool. We'll just buy a box whenever you win and then we'll ship it to you. But because we're unified now, that is not the case. I mean, World Convergence boxes are decently cheap. They are $74, $75. But I pay sales tax in Pennsylvania. I pay 6%. So I'm going to pay maybe about $80 total for that box. It's not horrible, but if I get them from distro, I think I get them for somewhere between $67 to $72 a box. I can't remember the exact amount. That's just World Convergence though. That's the first set of unification. EX9s are going to be our second set of unification, but apparently a lot of people hate it, right? So we're going to really see if they hate it so much that the prices of these boxes are cheap. But we come to a set like upcoming BT22, Cyber Eden. That most likely will be a set where you're not going to get $75 retail boxes. You are probably going to pay, what is EX7 sitting at now? Yes, I know EX7 was before unification, but it's still wild that, Dan, do you want to take a guess at how much EX7 boxes are?
Probably like $150.
Yeah, $140.
Damn,
which is
almost right on the money.
Which is crazy. Like, that's insane. And you know what's even more insane about that? Just a small side tangent. EX7 boxes are $140, but realistically speaking, what are you buying EX7 for?
That's the Demon set, right? Or is that
no, that's Digimon Liberator.
Chain Liberator.
No, that's the very first Liberator set. So what are you buying this set for? Surely you're not buying it for Bielstarmon X Antibody, your one secret. Or Vortex Resonances, your other secret. So if BT, if EX9 is going to be such a trash set, why is EX7 so expensive? And this was the point. This was one of the points that we were making when we made our last pod, that you were wrong about EX9. But side tangent over. I can't just come out here and buy a box of EX7 now. Yes, it's old, but like, what if when BT22 comes out, we encounter the same problem that boxes stay 100 plus? That's a lot of money, and then there's a whole financial aspect that goes into planning the tournaments. So it just makes it tough. And we were kind of at wit's end. So right as of right now, it's up to the community where we go with tournaments. Like Dan said, tournaments have always been a form of content for us. We had a lot of things planned around Ground Warfare, but quite literally, when we started having this entire plan, when Lucas came on 3/4 time for us, TBL attendance went down again, and it made it really difficult to do this content. You can't double match if you don't fire a tournament, and you don't really want to do a tournament recap if it was a 4-person tournament. You know what I mean? It just sucks all the way around. So we don't know where we want to go. We don't know where we want to go. Nighthawk made a very good point. He said, he quoted something that we said in the past. We wanted to create a locals for those who didn't have one. He said, perhaps this isn't a valid approach anymore, which I don't think it is. Surprisingly, Digimon has gotten more popular, you know, especially with stuff like Time Stranger coming out, but people have more places to play now, which is great. They do. They have more places to play. There are still people like, you know, Dan, myself, Panzer, where our locals are just, well, not Dan. Dan doesn't count because that motherfucker lives like 20 minutes from the edge. I, on the other hand, live like an hour. So I don't have any place closer than an hour. Panzer doesn't have any place closer than I think an hour. So there's still a few of us who, you know, we still don't have close locals, but a lot of people do. If the choice is between going to play IRL and play online, I don't blame you for playing IRL. Shit, I would too. But it also, you know, it also means that, oh, okay, cool. We need to figure out something to do. So we don't know where we're going with TBLs right now. As of right now, what I'm thinking is the idea is to scrap Wednesday tournaments, keep the Friday tournaments, make Friday half entry nights, and go from there. You know, last Friday we had 11 people, which was nice, but that feels like an outlier based on, you know, recent trends. So we're going to see how things go. If you guys have any comments, let us know down in the comments below. See what everybody thinks. But I can say that, like, from a different perspective, I don't mind not running TBLs. As much as I enjoy hosting something for you guys, it's a lot of time that I take to do that for you guys. Between the, like, shipping out of the pricing, sometimes if I have to print something, me offering participation pricing was probably the worst thing I could have done to myself, to be honest. Do you know how much fucking mail I had to fucking and all the packaging and shit? Like, no. That was a lot of fucking work. And I have a wife and 2 kids that I do like to see. So I don't like to be working all the time. So I can say that I don't mind not running TBLs because it gives me some time back from myself. But more importantly, one thing I mentioned, Dan, is if we stop doing TBLs, it's not entirely a bad thing. Yeah, we lose the money that we're going to use to pay our 3/4 timer, but, you know, hopefully we can use that time invested elsewhere and make some better content for you guys. Because, yeah, I haven't really felt the drive to play Digimon because I have a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night that gets dedicated to Digimon where I'm not playing Digimon. So on the Tuesday and Thursdays that I have free, I'm not trying to play Digimon because I have other things to get done. But if I'm not running TBL, if all I'm doing is a Monday podcast, and let's say we still host the Friday tournament, but I'm not streaming it, then cool. I don't mind playing some Digimon. Shit. I'll spend hours playing Digimon. I'll hop on stream and play Digimon. Like Gino and I did that one time when we didn't fight a tournament. You said, why don't you guys just stream it? And I was like, that's not a bad idea. And I had fun. It was enjoyable. So, it does give both Dan and I time back for ourselves and time that we can use to explore other Digimon content creation routes. So, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. At the end of the day, the end of this little soapbox is, if you guys have any suggestions, any thoughts, let us know. If you were planning to play on TBLs and you haven't for whatever reason, let us know what your barrier to entry is. I know one person said they didn't have a webcam. I have thought about doing like a webcam raffle. But I know there's different things for everybody. So that's that. No, DG is not going anywhere, unfortunately for you guys. We still have plans to do things. I still have 3 vlogs that is waiting on Lucas's editing to come out. Lucas is busy with the Wheel of Digimon, and I know he was finished with the first vlog episode. I don't recall where he was with the second one. I think he didn't like the story of the first one, so he went back to drawing board. So there's still content to come out, to be coming out for you guys. But I know I can say that EX9, fun. BT22, ooh, super excited. Even more exciting, however, I'm gonna make 2 videos. One video is going to be called, I'll tell you guys right now, I'm gonna be straight up. This is what the title's gonna be. I played Digital Tamers 2 for, I don't know how long I played it for. I wish I could have said a week, but I know it wasn't a week. So maybe I'll have to pick it up. Maybe no, it was definitely more than a day. I'll have to pick it up and play it so that I can say I played it for a week. But let's just say I played Digital Tamers 2 for a week and I hated it. That's what one video title is going to be. And it's nothing against the developers of the game. It's nothing against, well, there are some things against them, but nothing against the developers. I quite enjoy the game. But in doing some research on things that both Gino and I think could be improved upon in the game, there are no plans to implement those things in the game. So that video will be coming out for you. I would say within, I don't know. Let's say within a month, so I don't overshoot myself. The other video that's going to be coming out for you guys at some point in time. I don't know when. I'm going to start my Cyber Sleuth playthrough. And when I start my Cyber Sleuth playthrough, I will upload Cyber Sleuth videos. But more importantly, when Time Stranger comes out, we will definitely do a stream for Time Stranger, playing it. We'll upload some gameplay. That's what I'm really excited for. And ultimately, I think that's, I mean, we mentioned it last year on pod at some point that we wanted to explore like digitubing to the fullest, not just Digimon card game content. So for me, the bridge is video game, because I've only played a portion of Cyber Sleuth and I should complete it before playing Time Stranger. And then, of course, I mean, when Time Stranger comes out, that's going to be the home for so much new lore. As a matter of fact, fun fact, I read that one of the reasons that Time Stranger took so long to come out with was because they were using the Iliad server and the Olympus 12 and the entire concept of that as the lore. There was nothing developed for it. There was no existing medium. There was nothing to use as source material. So Time Stranger is the source material. Yep. So it is a story quite literally made from scratch.
So long because the producers and everybody were so like passionate about it that they wanted to make sure like every single nook and cranny for like the lore purposes for the Iliad server was like there for it and stuff. Which if you give me that and that's legit real, I have no problem waiting 10 years for it. I just wish it didn't take that long. Absolutely.
It is a crazy amount of time to wait. But I mean, when you think about something like the Final Fantasy series. Like, how long? Do you know how long? Because I don't know. Do you know how long it took for 16 to come out? Maybe like 5-6 years in development.
About, yeah.
And that's a triple A game. I personally really liked all of 16 that I played. I know some people don't care for the combat system, but I have loved all of the newer Final Fantasy stories. And that's a whole triple A team working on that, right? Digimon is not a triple A game, let's be real. I mean, it's triple A because it's Bandai, but like, it's not Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But 10 years spending most of the time working on concept art and because the gameplay is largely the same from Cyber Sleuth looking at, but working on concept art
way better
and story and but way better, exactly. And working on all the things that make the game good, giving us a game that has depth. I mean, shit. If you guys didn't see, go check out Carney X's video. He was recognized. This is how you know it's insane, right? Karn EX was recognized by the by Bandai, whoever he was brought in to play an early beta of Digimon story Time Stranger. Correct. And more importantly, when he went, they brought in the producer to meet him, and he said, like, when they brought him in, he was like, "Oh, you know, it's such an honor to meet you." Blah 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 blah. The producer was like, "Whoa. Stop. I know who you are. Like, we watch your videos. Like, I'm the one who should be like thanking you." Like, so to say. And it's like, what do you know who that is? Like, first of all, like, an acknowledgement of content creators is crazy. I mean, we saw it. Bandai started doing it with One Piece, card game. So to get the acknowledgement over on the Digimon side for the DigiTubers is crazy. For Carney X, big. And for them to watch his videos, if you guys don't know what type of videos he makes, it's all sorts of like different lore concepts. Like,
usually
these 10 Digimon are, I don't know, I can't even name a video. Go check out his channel and you'll know what type of videos he makes. But imagine that the Digimon development team is like sitting there watching Karn EX videos. And they're watching it and they're like, you know what? This guy has a point, right? Like, it's like we always joke about like, oh, is somebody from Bandai watching this? Because it's crazy that we just mentioned it. Like, that's literally what happened with him. Like, so he made a video about X Digimon doing Y thing, and then boom, you know, that's a good idea. We should adapt that into Time Stranger. Like, that's so cool. And for them to have that level of confidence in the Digimon content creator community, because it wasn't just him, there's a couple other people as well. For them to have like to know that there are people, it's always the cool thing is the acknowledgement of your fan base. Star Wars, Disney, they don't have that shit. Unfortunately, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but like when Disney bought over, sure, I don't know the name of like every ship, and I don't know all the lore and the backstory, but I'm a big Star Wars nerd.
Lacking.
I know. And Disney, they definitely don't respect the Star Wars fan base in the slightest bit, which is a shame.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the boys, Luke Skywalker.
Bro, between the shows, yeah, exactly. But that's my point.
90% of shows are really
not
bad.
Not all the shows are bad. That's not what I mean, though. It's like this the idea that they make the shows, and then like the movies are so lackluster. The recent trilogy, I should say, it's so lackluster. There's no direction. There's constant. What seems to be, well, I guess it's more of a movie problem with like the constant retconning. That's
to be stupid and go, I'm gonna have one director for the first movie, and then we're gonna switch it to a different director in the next one,
and let him retcon the entire first movie, and then give it back to the original one, who then retcons the entire movie again, bro.
It's the most dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Disney doesn't respect the Star Wars fan base, and it's a travesty. But it is so awesome to see the developers over at Bandai Namco, whoever's working on the game, acknowledge the content creator community, and by extension, acknowledge the fan base and want to bring us the things that we like. I even saw a tweet that was like, Yoshi had posted, Yoshi Sudarso, if you guys don't know who he is, you should just go look him up. He was like, he's one of us for real. Because I think the producer, I don't know if he's like around our age. I think he is. He had like watched Digimon the movie like around like the same time that we did. So he kind of like feels the same way that like we do, which is just, it's cool. It's relatable. So super exciting stuff.
You shouldn't say we when you say that.
Sorry, Unc. Yes, around Daniel's age. This is why, you know, me, the born in 96, we are neither wanted by Gen Y or Z or whatever. No, we're not wanted by Gen Z, and we're not wanted by the millennials. So we should just, you know what, 96ers, we should band up. We should make our own generation. We could call it Generation Unwanted. Nobody wants us.
Oh, man. That's funny.
But yeah, I'm super excited for everything that is coming out.
If you remember the reaction video you made for
yes, I know.
Digimon the movie. So that's
yes. I know. No need to remind me, Daniel. But okay. I'm super excited for everything coming out for Digimon. So that's probably that is the route that like I intend to do for content. I'm sorry I've been rambling for the last like 30 minutes. So I'll give Dan a chance to talk, I promise. Dan, talk.
Wow. You like it. Continue what you're saying. They're going to be generalized Digimon content for DGU. And there we're going to go. It's going to be a mixture of Digimon card game and Digimon video games and whatever else in between, like the Jeopardies if we decide to do more, which we will. We haven't set up episode 3 of that yet, but you know, one day we will with other guests potentially. And you know, yeah. Continuing with that being said.
So yeah.
Locals talk now at this point, right?
Yeah, we can talk about locals. I didn't go. I was on vacation. It was Evo Cup weekend, however, and somebody told me too late and then tried to chastise me for not coming, in which I told him it should have been announced, in which he told me, but it was said 2 weeks ago, in which I sent him the proof, the receipts, the screenshots that he didn't mention it 2 weeks ago, in which he said, well, maybe if you showed the locals more, then you would have known. So I didn't go because I chose to spend the last day of vacation with my wife. So Dan, how was the Evo Cup? I saw you got your ass whooped.
I didn't get my ass whooped. I lost only one round.
Nah, you got your ass whooped. You didn't bring home the prizing. You was talking about that big game. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go win all that prizing. Where the prizing at, Dan?
Actually, ironically, I still have all the prizing.
Did you trade for it?
Something like that. But anyways, so I was bored. I didn't know what to bring, and like I could have just brought Purple Hybrid, but I was like, look, we're gonna switch it up because I haven't played this deck in the tournament setting. So I decided to bring Digimon.
You decided to bring Digimon for the Evo Cup? You crazy?
Yeah, I'm crazy for that.
You crazy?
So, it's been a little bit since I played it because I was playtesting it before Store Regionals happening. And I was like, this deck is really easy to play and I'm like, whatever. Well, I haven't touched it since. So I was like, yeah, why not? Let's try this. Let's try this again. I did some updates. For some odd reason, there's one specific card I keep forgetting to add to it, which is Calling. And it makes perfect sense to put Calling in that deck. And I just didn't have Calling. And there was one time where it would have mattered and I probably would have been able to like close the game because I would have been able to kill my stack, gain a bunch of memory, play a bunch of rush guild mods and like go ahead. But I keep forgetting to put that card in there for some reason. So I didn't have that. And played against round 1 Magnamon. So lucky. I've never seen this shit before. Every single game, I will go do my combo turn, go Digimon, swing. First check is Magnamon. Starter deck Magnamon. I'm just like, great. I get Digivolved. And then, you know, maybe I die something. Who knows? And it happened 3 times. It went to three games. I won game 1 because I had all gas. So like when it happened, I was still able to like combo off and do a bunch of stuff. That game was like all gas, no breaks.
Yeah, I
he went into like
mean,
Magnex. Yeah. Game 2, he got into Magnex pretty early, and I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. So I'm doing my combo turn. I think I'm gonna, yeah. Use that 5 security, swing Digimon. Magnamon starter deck comes out. I'm like, Digivolved, great. You're so nice at this game. You know? It's like, come on. Ain't no way that every single time I swing with this Digimon, this happens. And then I couldn't do much
luck
with
is
it.
half the battle, am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I couldn't do anything. I'm like getting that game. And then game 3. So it's weird for the deck, right? You want to see a whole line, but at the same time, you want to see a bunch of options. So you can like stagger everything and like, all right, training, free Evo, free this, or like mem boost and stuff like that. In game 3, I had like the whole line in my hand and I decided to keep the hand, but I was like slow with it because I didn't have no trainings. I didn't have no boosts. I didn't have like stuff like that or analog you to, you know, like do some searching. And so when I got to it, I'll go Digimon, swing as expected. It's a Magnamon security first check. And then he did something and then I did something and then I had a turn where it might have been actually that might have been the same. It might have been the same stat because I forget because sometimes Digimon turns can be pretty long. And Wargrowl dies. I had to rush Gil, but I only had 18 cards in trash. So I'm like, great, this is the only Gilmon I can play right now too. So I'll play it out. I'm trying to like climb up the stack and I have no rush. And so I go like double grab crush because I'm just trying to get to something. And I get to the promo Gallimon. And I go into Wargrowl X and then into the promo Gallimon. I'm not really sure why, honestly. like just thinking back on it, I was like, all right, cool. I could get boosted and then this Gallimon could potentially crash into Magna X if he decides to block. And I think that was the thought process I had. But realistically, because that Magnum at that point was 15k already, I could have hard slammed for promo Gallon. Attempt to pop, doesn't pop. Probably would have played it for free or at least close to it. And then I would have had the 1 stack for Wargrowl X swing. Not get the 2 checks, but like at least if it dies, I get the inheritable to trash security. And then obviously, you know, everything else. Gain 2 memory. No, in this stack, gain 1 memory. Play the Guilmon off the Growl X because I had the Growl X in it. And then like I could do maybe more things and then promo Gallon swing as well. But like I didn't, and I just hard evoed. Attempt to pop, recovered. And he decided to not block. And guess what do I hit? It's security. Another Magnamon. And I'm just like, joy.
Who was playing this deck?
So much joy. Ian.
That's those Vanguard.
Like,
that's the Vanguard skills at work right there.
And I'm just like,
God stacking the security.
You're so nice. Like I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. I just get Digimon every single time I swing. Like ain't nothing I can do about it. And then you end up getting it. And then round 2, I played against the mirror match actually. I ended up winning 2-0.
Who was playing Digimon?
I went Grab Crush. Ophel.
Oh.
He decided to play Digimon instead of Gallant, which I was surprised.
Interesting.
I had a turn where I went grab crush, grab crush, grab crush, grab crush.
I hate you.
I had all 4 grab crushes in my hand, and I was like, I'm gonna let you know this is what's gonna happen. I just dropped the grab crushes. I go from like 0 to 8 or something like that, whatever it was. And then like I pop up and I win that turn, and he was like, even though he's playing the deck himself, and he goes to his up first opponent in round 1, he's like, you see, this is the bullshit that is happening. He was like, at least I didn't do this to you. I was like, I was
gonna say he was probably playing the fair version, Dan.
Oh no, he had a grab crush. He had grab crushes in it and stuff.
Oh, okay. I take it back. I take back everything I said.
So, he had grab crushes. I don't know how many. And he didn't play the analog use. He was running the Tocado. Game 2, he bricked. And I had everything for it and win. And then round 3, I played against Shine Greymon. That was a 2-0 win as well. I went Megidra. Got him down to 2 security off rip. And then he went Shine. Got me down to 2 security. But then couldn't close out. And then I closed it out with Digimon after that. And then same thing happened in game 2, basically. They said game 2 was worse for him because he didn't see no Marcuses. That's what it was. So no Marcus for Shine equals, you ain't doing nothing. And so I ended up getting that, and then that was it. It was only 3 rounds. So ended up getting like 3rd place. Yo, those cards in person are so cool though. The Cool Boy,
I bet they are.
X Anybody, and Omni X, really nice in person.
So on the topic of Omni X, real quick, I wish they used the better Omni X. I wish they gave us the new one. I know why they didn't.
That would have been cracked.
I know why they didn't, and I don't necessarily disagree with the decision. But man, do I wish that they used those arts for the new Cool Boy and the Omni X. But again, I get it. It is what it is.
I'm fine with the old Cool Boy getting that because the old Cool Boy didn't have a real like OR.
I know. He had this weird fucking event pack that was just a zoomed in picture.
Yeah,
and then the gold arts.
I think there was a gold one. Yeah, there was a gold one, and then the other one had the background with like the little. It's not textured, but you see like the texture of the background.
It's just a little bit extra foily. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish they would have done those, but it is what it is. So, Megidramon, huh? Yo, can we see a world where we say fuck the new Megidramon and we just try to mill our opponents out? You think we could still do that?
What do you mean?
I
like go
love my
Megidra and go mill 5.
I just love my EX2 and my BT5 Megidramons, man.
I love BT5 or whatever it was, BT2.
It's like, oh, swing, Digivolve, mill you. Oh, I died. Oops, teehee. I'll play out Medieval Gallopmon. I'll play out this Rush Gallopmon. Like,
right.
That's the type of shenanigans I want to play with Megidramon. But obviously, the hyper optimal build is this Megidramon for all the right reasons. The end of attack, delete all Digimon is cracked. I think being able to delete yourself is the biggest thing. You don't need an extra card to do the combo. If we had an in-archetype way to, maybe it was a tamer, like at the end of attack, you may suspend this tamer, delete one of your Digimon. I think that would be cool. It would make the other Megidramons way better. I've been learning a lot as I've been exploring other card games in terms of like different ways you can do support. Why your face like that? Why your face like
no
that,
comment.
Daniel?
No comment.
Audio listeners, if you see this motherfucker's face, the moment I said other card games, he was like, eh. No, but I've been learning a lot just by exploring other card games, and I don't think those old cards are bad. They're the type of cards I think you can definitely rejuvenate if you have something that isn't like, oh, I have to play like calling or what's the Digimon option? Megiddo Flame, I think it's called, to try to pop yourself, to pop something else. If it was just a tamer or something that, you know, could be played off of a new support piece to just say, at the end of attack, you may pop one of your Digimon. I think that would be so clutch and enable you to do some really stupid combos, and really rejuvenate that old stuff. So, you know, that's that. What we're going to talk about today, the topic of today is, or we're going to be talking about right on the backing of that, support. What it means when an archetype is getting support. This topic comes up because a lot of people are just so doggone upset that Royal Knights is getting more support. How dare they give this meta deck more support, Dan? These damn Royal Knights are always getting support. You know what I mean? How dare they? There are other decks that could use that support.
Yeah,
Dan actually does hate that. Dan is one of the people complaining.
No. Don't say that. I just laugh and just like, come on, like really.
So real talk. Let's talk for real, right? Let me tell you something. Royal Knights is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite decks, and it's one of my favorite archetypes because I have a really soft spot for anything that has to do with like knighthood. When I played Cardfight Vanguard, I was a Bastion, meaning I was a Keter Sanctuary. If you guys played that game, you already know what that is. If you haven't, just know it's just knighthood shit. I really enjoyed that. And even more so about Bastion, Dan, Bastion was a deck in Vanguard where you're rushing to get to your grade 3. Once you get to your grade 3, your entire deck is full of a bunch of other grade 3s. So you don't really get to play out much cards until you hit your grade 3, at which your only objective is to punch your opponent in the face with some high power, highly over leveled shit. Because they would all have, you know, high power levels. They would have these effects. One that lets you like restand, so you can get off like 5 attacks in one turn. Like, it's Mega Zoo in that game. And as you can see, that's why I like Royal Knights. With that in mind, Royal Knights came out in BT13 versus Royal Knights, the Digimon Data Squad or Savers set, however you recognize that. And when that deck came out in BT13, we had one good set where we had to combat the likes of, what were we combating then? Shine Greymon.
Like, what were they playing against?
Yeah, it was Shine Grey, Belfamon. Mirage, Belfamon. Can't remember a lot of the other decks. Those were like the main ones, and then
Hunters as well was up there.
Oh, Hunters, Beelzemon was definitely up there pre-hit. Or no, was Beelzemon might have gotten hit before Royal Knights came out. I don't recall. But yeah, definitely there was a lot. And it was a very good deck. It wasn't like the best deck in format. Shine Greymon was the best deck in format. I don't let anybody else tell you otherwise.
Correct.
I remember those times. Funny times arguing on Facebook.
So do I.
Anyways, that was it. Once BT14 rolled around, I don't recall like what was good, but I know Mirage was still good, and Royal Knights didn't get anything, and it eventually, honestly, just fell off. If it was good during BT14, I don't remember, but I damn sure know it wasn't around during EX5. It wasn't even a consideration for Nationals, to tell you like what it was. Nationals came, or EX5 came around, and the goal was you should be playing Anubis, you should be playing Melga. No, wait, I think that got hit. Did the Melga engine get hit, Dan?
For Nats?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so either you play like, well, it was Anubis Melga. Oh, because we didn't have Levia X yet at the time. BT15 came out afterwards. That was the thing. So yeah, Royal Knights was very short-lived, realistically speaking, in terms of like a meta life, right? And Dan, coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, how often did Yu-Gi-Oh get like major sets in a year? You would say like 4? 5?
Yeah, I think it's 4. It might be more now, but like when I played, it was definitely 4, 5. Yeah.
How long did a deck stay around in terms of meta relevance?
It really depended on the deck. It depended on how fast they power crept it or how fast they like that deck was. Because like during so like when I played, because I know what's going on in today's TCG. I can't say I don't. Back then, it really depended on if they wanted to hit the deck or not. So like True Draco, for example, because I was playing heavy during that time frame. That deck lasted like I felt like forever, like at least a year, just because it was a very control style deck, and Masterpiece was considered like a busted card back then, you know. And so when they would hit things that was around it at first, and it didn't do anything because it was just like a floodgates style deck. You play out Masterpiece and you just board control and you just keep swinging with a 2950 B stick basically. And like I said, it felt like it lasted a long time. But it really depends. Like today's world, they last per format. Like best deck in the format changes every set basically. It feels like.
But that's so
because that's part of how the game is, where like Rizos was like the best deck in the format, and then it got hit, and then a new set came out, and it came more support for Malice, and like also depends on if they want to keep supporting that deck, because for example, like Despia Albaz, that Albaz deck, that deck got like so much support over the year, over like a year or two, that like it's been around forever, it feels like. And so it just depends on like what they want to do with certain decks and how they want to like deal with like the meta. Because like tier limit, when it was tier 0, that lasted for maybe like 2 formats because they touched it up a little bit and it was still like tier 0, and then they hit it and then it was gone. Cash Tier was after, and they hit it now I won't say immediately, but man, it was like 2 sets and that was it. And then they smacked it up so fast, and then like whatever was afterwards, you know, they haven't hit Blue Eyes or anything like that. Blue Eyes is probably gonna be a mainstay for a while because it's Blue Eyes.
It's Blue Eyes.
No one hates Blue Eyes, and it's not like considered like a busted deck per se. It's just super good, and like the TCG way. So it just depends. It really
so there's
really how the Konami feels.
Right. So like there's a mix of a deck staying in the format because either it's going to get power crept or it's going to get hit. And would you say more often than not the deck just gets hit, and that's why they don't live past the format?
No. Well, it depends, because their ban lists are usually, I think now they do it like 3 times a year. I feel like now they have ban lists. But like back then when I was playing, it was 2 times. It was early in the year and then like mid-year, like every 6 months basically. And so I guess that's probably why decks felt like they lasted longer back then. But now, like, because they do bans faster, I feel like, and then like they're always power creep and shit, so like things just get taken out real fast sometimes. Gotcha.
So yeah, with that in mind, Royal Knights got support in BT13. They got an indirect very small buff when the advanced decks for bunnies came out, because I remember Dan doing meta snapshots and he was like, yo, you see people doing this? They were playing the starter deck Magnamon in Royal Knights. And I was like, I mean, I get it. You can get the cost reduction. It can be a security bomb. I don't necessarily know if I would care to do that though. That was it. That's all we got from BT13 all the way up until BT. We got our first Royal Knight again in BT16, which wasn't one that you should play in Royal Knights. That was Magna X. We got another one in BT17 that people were like, is this what brings Royal Knights back? And I was like, no, the fuck not. They were thinking about playing Omni Ace. I was like, why the fuck would you play Omni Ace? You don't need Omni Ace in that deck. Omni Ace is bad for that deck. And then we get to BT18, which is where you could consider the first real support. This is only relevant because I know we played in a case tournament, and Daishan, he's one of the local boys. He's a Royal Knight main, and he was playing Dynasmon Ace in the deck. He didn't have anything else, but he had the Dynasmon Ace. He had a couple other cards, but that's it. You could play the BT19 Dynasmon, which is trash. The Lord Nightmon Ace is irrelevant. You wouldn't play Lord Nightmon X. You could also play the BT19 Lord Nightmon, which was really good, or really good now, but probably at the time it just wasn't much of anything. All of this up until BT20. So let's look at it for real. You got like an inkling of support in BT18, 5 major sets later, but it really isn't until BT20 that we actually get some support to jump this deck back into relevancy. And Dan, what would you say is the most important card of the 4 that we got for Royal Knights in that set?
Wait. When you say 4, what 4 cards? Because there's more than 4 cards they use from that set.
Okay. 4 direct support cards. 4 cards only meant for Royal Knights. Well, sorry. 4 cards.
Boy, OmniX, the option. That's 3. And then Omeka. So 4.
And Omeka. I know OmniX can be splashed in other decks, but he is quite literally a Liberator traded card. Therefore, he, along with his cohort Cool Boy, are Royal Knight support. So direct Royal Knight support. So those 4 cards, I know we got other ones, but let's just focus on those 4. Which one of those 4 would you say is the most important?
I was about to say, they used the Jesmon from that set, they used the Alphamon from that set, and they used the Oryukin from that set, and sometimes the GX from that set too.
No, just the 4 cards. Just the 4.
But the Alphamon is... Anyway.
I know, sure. We'll get there. Just out of those 4 cards.
Those 2. Those new Alphamons is what that kills me. Between those 4 cards, OmniX, I guess. It has to be OmniX, right?
No.
Or are you going to say because of the support of Cool Boy?
No, not even Cool Boy. So OmniX is super strong. So yeah, so let's say it for what it is. That deck will get hit, and what will bring that deck down a power level is when Omekamon gets hit. That or Last Guardian. Personally, I'm fine with Last Guardian. Last Guardian is a search that we never had. You search top 3, you take a Royal Knight, and you take a Cool Boy. Some people wanted it to get hit. All right. Or some people even want they even want the Yggdrasil to get hit so we can't gain the memory back from Yggdrasil playing the option for 1. If you want to hit the deck, you hit the Omekamon straight up. The entire problem is Omekamon come down off of Cool Boy, or when you remove a security and then you digivolve into OmniX and you fuck up your opponent's turn. Realistically speaking, OmniX isn't the problem card. It's a very strong card and the deck is piss poor without it. But Omekamon is the real card that sits there and kind of like stares at you menacingly, So if you take away that card from Royal Knights, it's still strong because OmniX is a powerhouse. Cool Boy is really good support, and you still have a search from Last Guardian. But now you just can't do the life-saving shenanigans from Omekamon. Those are 4 support cards that we got 7 major sets later. I would say approximately a year and a half later to jump this deck back into relevance. Now, yes, to Dan's point, Alphamon Oryukin Ace, super strong card for the deck. Jesmon, strong. Jesmon GX Ace, strong. Alphamon, if you choose to play it, strong. But those other 4 direct support cards are the first cards that we had gotten in over a year and a half that were a direct injection specifically for Royal Knights.
I would hit Purge before I hit any of those other cards.
Fuck you. Leave my Purge alone. I'm not saying it's a bad hit. I'm just saying leave my fucking Purge alone. Sometimes it's the only way we can deal with those fucking floodgates. Anyways.
That's the point.
No, fuck you. Fuck you for that. Leave my floodgates alone.
Why are we playing OmniX for completely free and have no? Stop.
I mean,
just no.
Hey, we don't get on plays.
I don't care.
We only get to swing.
He needs to have. He has rated fucking piercing.
We only get to swing. We only get to swing twice a turn at 16k DP with raid and piercing. It's not that big a deal.
And a turn of swing again. No. Or even Genkumon, who accidentally can play Omni X.
Hey, he's only a 2 of anyway, so we don't lose much by putting him the 1. Yeah, realistically, I think, yeah, I mean, yeah. If you were gonna hit it, it's either Omekamon so that you can stop the also oppressive Omni X on your opponent's turn thing, or the Royal Knights of the Purge. But my point is that this deck has gotten support so much longer than you would think it would have gotten support for. Like, Royal Knights are such a mainstay archetype. It's crazy that it went so long without getting some form of support. You know, like, Machine Dramon looks at every set and it's like, ooh, what new level 5 cyborgs do we have that we can play? They get indirect support every single set. BL Star at that point was the same thing. Ooh, we got a new 7-cost option. What does it do?
And that's why they stopped making 7-cost options. You can't stop cyborgs because they're naturally cyborgs.
But they definitely designed cyborgs with Machine Dramon in mind. I'm sure they design it with Machine Dramon in mind to see how it can be abused. And that's probably why we've seen...
do with the Royal Knights when they make Royal Knights now. Now they always have on play as well for
exactly,
Royal Knights.
Which we're seeing in BT22. So the point of today's topic is talking about these decks get support, but like, is it such a bad thing if they continue to get support? Just because, let's say, All-Force, right? All-Force is getting support in BT22. All-Force, let's leave the original BT3 All-Force out of it, because the new,
the
BT11 All-Force basically revamped the archetype. When BT11 All-Force came out, it could have gotten support in BT12, but it didn't. I think... it did. Yeah, All-Force X, right. So it came out in BT11, it got support in BT12. Would everybody have had a problem if it got another wave of support in BT13? Because that's what it sounds like with Royal Knights. This deck came out BT13, didn't get support again until BT20. Do we play anything in BT21? I don't think. No, you don't play anything in BT21. So we didn't get any direct support in BT21. So as a matter of fact, we were gypped a set, air quote, right? But now we're getting support again in BT22 because Cyber Sleuth. It's the entire game, you know? And people are upset that Royal Knights are getting support, but how can you be upset that a deck is getting support because it's already meta when A, it's the theme? Are you just gonna let me ask you this? Oh, there goes my camera. Whoopsie daisy. Sorry, Lucas. Are you going to be upset that Royal Knights didn't get support because they printed a Kentaurismon that doesn't say on play, or that they printed a Leopardmon that doesn't say on play? We got the Lord Knightmon that has an on play. I wouldn't touch that card for Royal Knights, but it has an on play, meaning you can choose to play it in Royal Knights if you so choose. Maybe in the future we'll get some sort of red or black level or cost 4 or lower card that you want to play. I, again, would not, but maybe. We've seen it in the past. People have gotten upset because, oh, this card can't. As a matter of fact, I got the perfect example, Dan. I got the perfect example. Raidenmon. Now, Raidenmon doesn't get a lot of support, but it got support in BT9 when it came out. We got a new Raidenmon in BT20. I don't think we got a Raijin, Fujin, or Sujinmon. Let me double check here. Raijin. We got we only have one Raijin, Fujin, and Sujinmon. But we just got another new Raidenmon as an ace. Unfortunately, though, this card is specifically for DM version 5. You can't really even play, like, you can kind of play Raijin, Sujin, and Fujinmon only if you tuck them underneath the Raidenmon as source, because the Raiden doesn't digivolve from those cards. But for what it's worth, neither does BT20 Raidenmon. And like, nobody complained about that. It has Digicross, which is a big thing. But outside of that, it doesn't really play with the other stuff. So when we're talking about archetypes getting support, it's okay that this stuff sees support constantly. It's a problem when other archetypes don't get supported and don't get good support, I should say, like Greymon. But I mean, Greymon's making a comeback. Am I right, Dan?
Are we cooking in a week?
Well, what did we get for those Gaiomons? Or Gaiomon, I should say, not Gaiomons.
Yuki? Or
We got well, I mean both, because Ultras is definitely support for that. But you have the Yuki, which gives what?
Protection against Digimon effects.
Against Digimon effects. I think it gives you a buff when you raid.
Plus 3k, yeah.
And then we have a new Gaiomon that says...
And Rise Greymon to play your Tamer out for free too.
Right. A CS Tamer, but that does matter because... And then...
he plays Tamer just in general. He just plays a black or red Tamer in general.
Oh, really?
Not even just CS, yeah.
Ooh.
So, cool combo you can
that's
do.
That's way better than I thought.
Yuya from BT11 plus Yuki equals all Magnamon style immunity for your Gaiomon.
And then we have this Gaiomon that has the sort of the sort of scorpion from Mortal Kombat effect, like
get over
here. He said, "You're suspended. Stand your ass up. I'm a raid into you. Piercing. 5K.
I said, get your ass back up. I ain't done with you yet. Get up."
Like, yo.
Just to hit him with the RKO again, you know.
That Gaiomon is so...
I think he's really good.
That Gaiomon is so insanely good. I love this. I love these styles of mechanics. You would never think, why would I want to unsuspend my opponent's Digimon? Have you heard of plus 5k and piercing ability when attack targets change?
Plus raid. Yeah.
Plus
Seconds have raid. Plus 1 on it, probably.
And then let's not forget, all right, let's think about something very important. There's a very old line that I am really in love with, that I've been trying to make good forever, that might just be better now. It is a set of cards from a good old starter deck. It was the dawn of ace cards. It is starter deck 15 Agumon and Greymon that say all turns, when an attack target is switched, gain 1 memory on the Agumon and on the Greymon.
For sure.
Digivolve. Let's say we don't get a new Greymon X. That's fine. Let's say you Digivolve into a Metal Greymon or even the Rise Greymon. No, you want to do, for Dan's combo, you would want to do the Alterus because but you would need the EX1 Greymon to play out the team. So, but this does let you attack on the when Digivolve.
There's a lot of stuff you could do, so it really depends. If you're gonna go with the Rise Greymon route, you're not gonna go into Alterus.
Right.
Greymon, you would just play your Tamer, and then you go into your Gaio, you swing, you raid, gain 2 memory, swing over 2 checks probably, or 3 checks, whatever. Shit, probably go Omni X after that, something, who knows.
Yeah, if you end up keeping turn, I mean, realistically, if you have Greymon and Raising and a starter deck tie, which mind you, we have a starter deck tie that says when attack targets are switch tapped, this Tamer draw 1 and gain them. Plus 2k. That's really good too. That means with that in play, raise, let's say you Digivolve the Rise Grey. It doesn't matter what Tamer you play out, but let's say you play out like the BT12 tie that gives blocker. Then you Digivolve into this new Gaiomon for 4, right? For 4, it is a 13. Is this our first 13k 4 cost in archetype mega? I'll be honest, I can't recall another 13k but 4 cost to digivolve in archetype mega. Because generally, whenever they're 13k, they're always 5 cost to digivolve. So I could be wrong. If y'all know, let me know in the comments down below. But I want to say this is our first 13k 4 cost digivolve in archetype. Blastmon doesn't count. There's an obvious reason why he is why he only costs 3. There are ones that like gain memory back.
Griffinmon, that's a 13k. That's a 3 cost Evo, but it's a vanilla.
What is it? Oh, it's a vanilla. Okay. I know. Oh no, I lied. Dinomon. There you go. Because Dinomon digivolves for 4, and he's a 13k. So, all right, not the first one, but Dinomon is definitely the first one that I think is of any relevance. I don't think. Oh no, I lied. There was a black Mega Gargomon that was so bad that nobody remembers.
A lot of the
Really
13k
bad.
ones are like X antibodies or something like that, or mode changes where they Evo for like 2 over their normal versions.
So there's a couple of them.
Oh no, that's still 5 cost. Never mind.
Yeah, he still costs 5.
That's so
That's why he's
stupid.
bad.
Why is it? Why is it black box just for 5
Yep.
still? That's hilarious.
It's because of like all the different colors of Pulsemon, but like, yeah, he should have been one that only digivolves for 4. I do hate that. That's why that card is bad. But
oh no, you got Argomon. Argomon Evos over Argomon for 4.
well, also like I said, Dinomon.
Yeah. So we got 2 so far.
It's not the first one. However, you raise Digivolve, play your tamer down, you Digivolve for 4. You've put your opponent to 4 memory right now. You tell their Digimon to stand their ass up. Then this Digimon may attack. You swing into their Digimon. You have Agumon and Greymon, you're going to gain 2 memory when attack target switch because you raided. You have the tie. When you Digivolve, you can gain a memory. You've now put your opponent to 1 memory.
New Digimon Evos for 4 over Archetype.
Okay. You have now put your opponent to 1 memory, swinging into something. You've gained a total of 7k DP. You are 20k on piercing on 2 checks. You will reboot on their next turn. And depending on what other tamers you have in play, you could gain some more memory. You can make yourself unaffected by Digimon effects, make yourself unaffected from option cards.
Heavy Metal Digimon Evos for 4.
Ooh, Heavy Metal Dramon. How could I forget the boy?
How dare you?
He's trash. That's why. But
And that's it.
Greymon is
Oh, Rust Tyrannomon, the new promo Rust Tyranno.
right. Greymon is
Avenged Kidmon.
Greymon is coming back. Or at least Gaiomon is. And then come what is it? EX10. We'll see if Black War Greymon gets a line. We're hoping he does, but it is also entirely possible that he doesn't. But at least we know that a Gaiomon deck is playable now. And for what it's worth.
Black War Greymon EX9.
Oh, of course you are. But for what it's worth, Gaiomon has now gotten 2 consecutive waves of support. We just got a promo card, and here's a new Gaiomon. But are people going to complain? No, because the deck is bad. When Gallantmon got its endless waves of support, did we complain, Dan? No. As a matter of fact, we said, damn, Gallantmon is still getting support.
I'm like, yo,
and
I'm so tired of seeing this goddamn Geomon having support.
And he's still trash. But he finally is good. And now people are like, damn, now Gallantmon's still getting support. But you weren't saying anything when it was bad. You know what I mean? Like, that's the entire point. I don't understand. Every deck should get support fairly, for sure. And there are decks that don't get love. We all acknowledge that. I'm still waiting on Justimon to get some good support. You know, I'm a Justimon main now. Go Power Rangers, go. No, it's
I want to make sure like chat understands that I'm the one that made him become one.
It's because of MJam. All right, chat. It's MJam. Marvin's jank ass machines, babe. I will not stop until the day I make Marvin's jank ass machines work. But yeah, I just don't understand why everybody gets so upset that a deck is getting more support when it's not a problem for decks to get support. Unless it's
because of the style of decks getting support, because people are up in arms on Sakuyamon Advanced deck, including me. I'm not up in arms about it per se, but I was like, wow, they give that deck a advanced deck, you know, versus something that's Justy or even like
Justimon's the only relevant one.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think
because then you'd be saying Kazu,
did Bielsa, and then
Kazu with like Garjomon or Marine Angemon.
Hey, Rapamon needs a second one because that deck still lasts. Sorry, Rapid enjoyers, Bunny enjoyers. But I don't know how they chose Sakuyamon over Justimon. I'm pretty sure. I mean, at least in our headcanon, Vardy and I are like, well, because of unification, niggas got messed up. They probably already had this plan when Sukuya X came out, and they all got pushed back, and that's probably maybe what happened or something like that. Don't know if that's true or not, but that's our headcanon at least, and we're gonna go with that.
Because let's be real, Dan. I think Bandai actually does a pretty decent job of supporting various archetypes.
When they decide to support them.
When they decide to support them. I don't think there's ever really like any one archetype that has overstayed its welcome because Bandai's just constantly fed its support. Like, it's been constantly fed support when it was trash. Gallantmon. And because Vmon has like three different canonical lines.
Vmon and like when people kept complaining it was a Greymon card game, I swear to God, it was because people kept saying it was Greymon card game and they were tired of Greymon support. Even though technically it was different Greymon support, but because the way Greymon worked back then, it was all interchangeable.
It was our Greymon support.
Exactly. And that's what it feels like. That's the reason why Bandai was like, we're gonna chill on the Greymon support, and then like it took forever to get it, and then like they sprinkled Greymon stuff here and there. And then it was all like different. And so it was like so weird how it all like kind of works together, but kind of not really type of thing. And
honestly, though, it wasn't even that bad. Like Greymon didn't even become relevant until BT9. And it lived for all of three to four formats, 3 to 4 sets. Because
we had, remember BT9, then BT10, and then BT11, which was Black War Greymon X.
Right, so we went War Greymon X.
And then 12 was War Greymon, the new one, the cracked one.
Right. And so it was like 4 sets of relevancy. But it, like you said, like it was like 2 different decks because it was War Grey X, an OTK deck. Then it was still War Grey X and BT10. Not that it was played like a whole lot. Then BT11, it was Black War Grey. Then BT12, it was War Greymon without War Grey X. You didn't even fucking play War Grey X. Fuck War Grey X. Shit, you were just playing Black War Grey and War Grey as your top end. And then BT13, it was irrelevant. BT14, it got support, but it was bad. It was we got one good card.
Grey X was already got hit, and you had Agumon, which was a good card. Greymon's trash. Metal Grey Ace trash, and then War Grey, the secret.
Not bad.
No, it's not trash.
It's not bad. It is a good card.
It's a decent card.
It's not enough to like bring the archetype back, and it's been bad since until OmniX.
15-0, 16-0, 17. We got the secret Greymon, and then like the Omnimon support, but like none of that stuff really worked for Greymon outside of the secret rare Greymon. And then what was that 17? So then 18-0, 19-0, 20-0, right?
No,
21.
Because anytime we've seen like an Agumon, it's typically been Adventure or
because I forgot to say like the EX sets in between, because like the EX sets didn't even have anything really, and then it was
7, 8. No, they didn't have anything.
The adventure stuff, and that was like, all right, we got Greymon support again a little bit, and then BT21 some Greymon support, but that was really adventure mix, so you could use it interchangeably. And then obviously OmniX and BT20, which you could be using anything basically, which is good. And then, we got the promo War Greymon, which was more adventure. Like, are you going to see in a War Greymon deck or Greymon deck? Not really. The first really good support is EX9 Alterous mode. And that's because we can finally do something for free, finally.
And it's not even direct Greymon support, like direct Greymon.
It is direct Greymon
archetype. Well, no, because that was meant for, what's it called?
Adventure.
Adventure and
Omnimon.
Alter S, right? I think.
Yeah. Technically, the way it works, yes. The way it technically works.
So it's like, it's not even direct support that Greymon is getting. So Greymon has been starving for sets, and that I remember all the Greymon card game complaints, and it's like, why are we out here complaining? Because deck's getting support, man.
Right. But it also, like, here's another thing too. Like, people gotta realize, it's not like Bandai goes, all right, set 22, we're gonna have Greymon this, we're gonna have, Vmon, Guilmon. They go by, they're very thematic. Like, all their sets, when you look at it, outside of maybe like a little bit of BT 1 to 3, but that's just the start of the game. You have to get stuff out. Like, every set, when you really think about it, are very thematic sets. So, like, when we have those times where it's like, damn, we got like 3-4 sets in a row of one Digimon. Well, it just so happens that BT18 was, what's it called? BT18 was mix of season 3, and
Tamers and
Tamers.
It was called Cross Evolution.
I don't care about the other part of it.
It was called Cross Evolution, but it was a
I know.
Tamers predominant set.
Yeah, the point of it is just that we got, Gallimon support, right? BT18 has that.
Right.
Prior, BT17 also had Gallimon support, and then we had the EX8 with more Gallimon support, where we got the X line. It's like, oh man, he's like, Bandai is purposely doing this. Well, BT17 was meant to be a movie set. So movie sets it was all the main protagonists and the villains of all the movies. Guess who's in it? It just so happens to be Gallimon. And just so happened right after that, they decided to do a Tamer set, and then 2 sets later, technically, for us it was 1 set later, that the EX, was it 8 or EX7, whichever one it was, EX8
Chains of Liberation
out for the Gallant X, right? And then now we go to 20, no Gallimon support. 21, no Gallimon support. 22, Gallimon support.
No. We got Gallimon support indirectly because it's Guilmon and Takato. No, the Megidramon stuff.
Sure, the Megidramon. But
so again, the problem of crossing lines.
My fault. BT23 is having Gallimon in it. Let me reverse.
Right, because BT2, I don't know if he appeared, but I assume that he didn't, and it was a hacker's memory thing along with a couple of the other ones I can't remember right now. But
like, it's okay
because the Royal Knights are going to be split between the 2 sets.
Yeah, I mean, they're all in them, but like, I think they just did just to split it up, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
So like, people are mad that they already confirmed Gallimon. It's like, bro, he was in Cyber Sleuth. He was in those games. Like, it's okay for them to be, in them. Now, what they do, on the other hand, is an issue. What if this is the most broken ass Gallimon ever? Now that becomes a problem. It really depends. It's like all hindsight type things. Like, it really depends on what happens. But I mean, as long as they're good cards and not anything that like breaks the game, like I don't think it's bad as long as it helps the archetype type.
Right, exactly. Royal Knights is the one subject to most criticism right now, but what about when Melga was just constantly getting shit? Fucking.
When it got it, the problem is Melga was so good that it has separate support and it just intertwined.
It intertwined, and then they said, "All right, fuck it. It's we don't even need to play this shit," because we had gotten. I got a filter for just the blue shit. Hold on. So BT, I mean, shit, it was good before BT9, wasn't it? It was good. It was decent because I think I remember like Obi playing it back then. It was decent. It was definitely better than Greymon at one point. because you would play Melga over playing War Greymon, and then BT9 came around. You had all those shenanigans, and then
after BT9, it was a hot minute for support.
Oh, was it really? Oh, maybe I'm just scarred by
You're totally
maybe I'm just scarred by Melga's support. All right, I take it back. I lied. I mean, it's Melga, so what do we care, right?
Right. It's just the problem with Melga was that every time it got support, it was broken. Like Guru X, the new Guru line was stupid. Plus the starter deck stuff that was really good.
Right. Starter deck
because that came out around the same close to the same time.
Very close. So yeah, I mean, every deck needs support. I mean, I can go back. I can say that Craniamon needs support. You know, we have
Craniamon dying for support.
We have 2 Craniamon, and realistically, they ain't shit. BT3 dies to Digivolve and DP reduction. BT13 just ain't shit because he cost a whole 5 to Digivolve into. So they gotta feed me a whole new Craniamon. And honestly, I don't have. They will, but I just don't have. I don't have faith for him being good. But then on the other hand, you have like Leopardmon, and with BT13 Leopardmon, always been a good card. Me and Dan said that from the rip. Like this shit's like good for itself, good in green, good stuff. We got Leopard X, which is an insane card for Leopardmon. Now we have a Leopard Ace, however. And this Leopard Ace, realistically speaking, I'm gonna say for what it is, it's trash for Leopardmon. But it's
agreed.
Pretty damn good for Royal Knights.
Cracked and Royal Knights. You're able to play your Omekamon. You're able to gain memory with 2 memory, just cause when you leave, your Royal Knights leave.
Yeah,
to go on
for what's worth, he doesn't see himself leaving the battle yard, which is good. But if you drop this and then if you have double on board, I don't suggest that because when you do your Omni play, you're going to overflow 4. But
correct.
Yeah, it's a really good card for Royal Knights.
It's weird because it's like my headcanon now. Like when I think about that, like if I don't know how many of them they're gonna play. I would assume like 1 or 2 max. But man, it feels like they just gave Royal Knights a mem boost.
It's a mem boost with extra steps.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily need the memory. I would honestly just play this so I could get 2 bodies on board because acceleration is nice. I play this. I play an Omekamon. Either I get to draw 1 or I get a blocker. That I then get to tuck under Yigi. If both live until my next turn, then cool. I can swing, die, gain 2 memory, play something else out. Like, I think it's a very versatile card. The problem with Royal Knights currently is, man, I don't know where the fuck I'm fitting this card. They gave us that support in BT20, and now there's like a solid like 30. I think it's like Dan and I counted it out. I think it's like a 35 card core that you absolutely play these cards at these quantities. So you only have 15 cards of flex, and it's less than you think. So, but Leopardmon, shit card for Leopard. Leopardmon Ace, shit card for Leopard, but good for Royal Knights. Kentaurousmon.
Well, it's also gonna be good for CS pile as well.
And for CS, right. Kentaurousmon, fucking probably the best Kentaurousmon. I have a soft spot for BT13 because I really like it, but unfortunately, 5 cost to Digivolve is a problem because you're only going to gain memory if you have 6 or fewer in both player stacks. This Kentaurousmon is always going to cost you 3 on a cheating mon, which is nice. Or you can warp off of your Dick Samson for its cost, so you would Digivolve for 4 because you're Digivolving. Wait, what is it? For the Digi-Evolution cost, ignoring its level. Right, so for the Digi-Evolution cost, right. Wait, actually, I guess that's because it's a black box. You would have to fulfill those requirements. That's interesting, Dan. Dick Sampson says, one of your Kudamon may digivolve into Kintorismon in the hand for the Digi-evolution cost, ignoring its level. Oh, yeah, it specifies. Okay, nope, I answered my own question. Ignore me. I thought we might have been able to get the 3 cost, but no, we're going to have to pay the 4. But you can warping for 4 with a blocker barrier that gets to unsuspend that finally plays. Well, not finally, because the old one did too, but we have so much more cards that say when this card is trashed from security, because I believe both forget what it's called, the Repamon. The Repamon and the Chirinmon both say when this card is trashed from security, you may do this thing. So Repamon is play this card. The Chirinmon, I think, is like a -6 or something. Damn. Oh, shit. It's a -8. Ooh, that's nasty. And I'm happy that, this deck is getting support. Yeah, of course. I'm probably going to play. It depends. If you wanted to play this card in Royal Knights, if you're playing the 4 Magnamon and you're playing the Alphamon, you could play this card, because it's targets for you to put on top of your security. I'll probably try, just because it already has a built-in cost reduction. If there are 6 or fewer, you reduce cost by 6.
Cost reduction is pretty solid for that.
So
deck.
that would be the reason I'd want to play this, because having a built-in cost reduction is really clutch. Means I can, if we're both at 6 or less, I can play out whatever Royal Knight I want, and I could still drop this for 6 and still do things. Blocker, barrier. It's a double blocker. It gets the recovery. It's really nice. But again, space. I don't know where I'm going to fit that. But it's nice, right? I think the key to cap up the argument, it's nice when you have options, but it sucks when your deck just kind of, it's built and then that's it. Like, I think, like for Megidramon, for example, like people can mess around with Megidramon and like change ratios and stuff. But like, let's be real. The deck is built. You have what, Dan? Maybe like 5 cards of flex? If so much?
I mean, depending on how you build it, 20 cards at least is flex. Your whole
Also,
option lineup is flex.
Well, no, because you want to
Grab Crush. You don't have to play all those boosts. You don't have to play analog boost in that deck.
But you should.
Sure.
Right. Like you, like if you're playing an optimal build.
Grab Crush. Sure, yeah. That's different. Then yeah.
I mean, all right. So then maybe Digimon.
The 12 Guilmon, the 8, the 6.
It's typically 8 to 9 Growlmon.
4, 9 is 9 Growlmon, because you play the 4 new one, 4X, and then the 1 second attack plus 1, inheritable one. Then you play the 4 War Growlmon, 1 War Growl X, 4 Megidra, 1 Promo, 1 Gallant, and then everything else is really technically a toss up. But if you want to say like 3 to 4 Grab Crush, 4 trainings or 4 boosts, and then like 4 3 to 4 red one training as well.
So what are we looking at there? Maybe like,
I don't know. I didn't do the math. I was just saying.
I didn't do the math either. I would say that's like 35 to 40 cards locked in.
Yeah.
So you have like 10 cards of flex, and realistically, like there are cards that you can play that's kind of like, yeah, I should play this. So in a way, the deck is solved. And I would say maybe, what other decks do we have that are solved? Like Sukuyamon. It's
solved.
Pretty solved. You play 4 Membus for training. You play 4 Scramble. You play 3 Sukuya X. You have your 12, probably what is a 12, 9, 6 or 7 lineup of 3s, 4s, 5s. So it probably has like the same ratio of cards that are set in stone, 35 to 40. At
this point of the meta though, like everything is solved.
Right.
We're at the tail end of the meta. So like usually most decks are solved. The top tier decks are all like solved. And there's nothing really going to change per se.
So to put it in a bigger perspective, those decks are still going to be good next format. Like they don't lose anything unless they get hit, but they're fast, they're strong, they hit hard, they do their thing. When the next set rolls around, because they don't lose anything, but also because they don't gain anything, they don't change. The builds stay the same. Oh, you know what? That's the example I should have used. Leviamon. That deck has been solved since BT
the beginning
16.
of time.
The beginning of since BT 16. That deck has not changed. You probably have even less flex spots in Leviamon. And there's nothing that you can change things here and there, but then you're just playing like a suboptimal build. And that's because the deck doesn't get new support. It gets like some purple things that you might want to play, but are they better than what you're playing now? No. And they're not direct support. But in the case of Royal Knights, deck is good. And now we're getting new cards that say, all right, cool. Do I want to try to fit this into my deck? And even when you figure it out, I mean, Royal Knight builds, I already find like, yes, they do have a very locked in core. But I mean, people still play around and they'll play 3 Omni X and 3 Omekamon and 3 Cool Boy just so that they can fit some other cards. Personally, I'm a fan of consistency, so I wouldn't. But if you go along with that trend, when you go into the next format and you have these new cards, if you're cutting those cards down, the deck does change a little bit, which is nice.
We won't see like crazy. I was gonna say like we won't see crazy changes in like EX9. Well, like
not
like
EX9. I meant BT22.
No, I know. I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You was on 22. Just because it's just EX sets. Usually you get like 2-3 decks that just added and that's it really. Usually. Well, like when BT22 comes around, we can see a lot of those decks make changes because new stuff comes out. Like Royal Knights can switch up pretty quickly depending on how the meta changes, which is like exactly cool thing you can do with Royal Knights because you have all these different cards you can kind of use depending on how aggro you want to be or how control you want to be, how defensive you want to be, and etc. Even like, you know, depending on like how busted certain decks might become, like you can still see like switched ups in Takuya, even though that's a soft deck at this point.
Right,
like,
that is true.
You're not gonna really. I don't see it just because I don't see the player base that plays that deck switching things up because it's a solitaire deck. So like, why do you change anything up? But right. If there's a deck that can force it to change, then maybe it would. I don't know if it could, because like if you change it, does that make it less than what it is? Probably, you know.
I mean, for what it's like, worth. You have a defense plugin that gives blocker reboot. You could become a blocker reboot Valder.
Right. Yeah. Or like, you know, maybe they decide to go a different route. But like, I need to go more aggro and go second attack +1. The second attack +1 like plugin or something.
Right.
So maybe there's a chance that something could like throw a wrench into their deck and like we need to switch things up. That's why me personally, that's why I love Purple Hybrid, because Purple Hybrid is a very toolboxy deck. Where
yeah,
I can
you're locked into 16 cards, I think.
I'm locked into 8 hybrids and 7 tamers, technically.
7 to 8 tamers, right.
I don't have to play Louis. Like, Louis is a flex spot, realistically. But, like, Louis become a staple for the deck, I would say. But, like, everything else is super flex. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, obviously, you're going to run the 5 Ukos. You're going to run, you know...
I mean...
8 hybrids.
Hey, you were playing Rip Hybrid, and Panzer said that he met somebody at Store Regionals who was also playing Rip Hybrid. So funny. And suppose he said that they described the exact same thing. Why it's called RIP Hybrid. I was crying. I was like, someone must have listened to the pod or something. It had to be, because I'm pretty sure I'm the only person I've seen like build that deck. And as much as I loved it, I hate it too. So I'm never gonna be. I won't try it again until we get the magenta. I think it's magenta, the red purple mem boost. I will consider rebuilding it again when it comes to that, because like Flamemon didn't help the deck at all. Flamemon was terrible. I think I talked about it on the pod, but
Terrible. But anyways, and so that's why I love that deck, because I can switch things up, like the Digimon Ace that I've been playing, or Medieval, or the Gallant, or I can do
Superior
that.
mode.
You can try it. Yeah, superior mode. You can try the Soundbird combo that people are doing with the Pummel Wax and stuff like that. I think it's really cool. Or now the new tech, the one that won, Chris Fuegos, where his name is. I think that's his name. The guy who won the purple hybrid.
Yep.
He was running the I forget her name, Violet, running 2 Violets.
Oh, so you trashed the option draw card?
Yeah, so he wasn't running like the Pummel Whack version though, but it was just basically for him. All right, this matchup, Rivals is dead against Digimon. Let's just trash and gain a draw, and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
I mean, you saying that though, Pummel Whack Violet, it's a nasty little.
Yeah, it is.
It's a nasty little combo.
It's a draw too.
Yeah, you draw 3 cards starting your turn. That's cracked.
Basically, so like the version that really was running Alice was running like the Pummel Wax, the Underworld Call, Alice, and then Soundbirdmon. It was 4 Soundbirdmon, 4 of the Pummel Wax, 4 Underworld's Call, and like 2 to 3 Alice's. So Soundbirdmon, you trash an option, gain a memory, draw 1, and then Alice, draw 2, draw 3.
That's a cute little engine. I like that a lot.
It is. It's cool. It's a little bricky at times, because if you have all options and no way to trash them, you're in a weird situation.
Nah, just play Melga Ace.
With that version.
Just play Melga Ace.
Yeah. Easy, yeah. Totally. Run a trash
Wait,
card.
hold on. Does it have an on play? It doesn't have an on play. I take it back.
No, it doesn't. It does not.
Damn.
And
if only you had a card that could trash multiple cards from hand.
Oh, no. But anyways. So it's cool to see like Purple Hire be different. Like obviously I was trying to be innovative with like the RIP version. I've tried people running Mimis because of Sakuyamon. You just steal memory and hopefully steal turn or something. There's a lot of different things you could do. That's why I love the deck. So I could definitely see different decks in the future try to switch it up. Like if Digimon gets hit up with like Grab Crush and stuff like that, I think it's still be viable. You just gotta switch your style up.
Oh, for sure. It'll still be a good deck. It just won't be as fast. But it'll lose its one punch fucking bullshit shenanigans.
Or Royal Knights, right? Royal Knights can be, like we mentioned,
whatever hit comes to Royal Knights would be perfectly fine, realistically speaking. The only way Royal Knights dies, in my opinion, is if they hit OmniX, which they won't hit OmniX. But
that's why I also like. No, I was just gonna say like different decks that were like can switch up. Like Greymon was a great deck. You can go from a super OTK version, or you can even go into like a super control version with like Black or Greymon or something, and love that ability to be able to do that instead of like Fenrir is a one trick pony.
Yeah,
you don't have to be nice with it. You just don't have to do the combo read.
And that's why I'm excited for EX9, because depending on how they do it, I mean, we already saw it, right? We have Datamon. Datamon is a DM version 5 on play when digivolving. So the end of your opponent's turn. Their digivolve effects don't affect you.
BT22. He's on BT22, right?
Yeah, he's BT22.
Yeah.
And it gets 1,000 DP for each face down. End of opponent's turn. Choose one of your opponent's Digimon. Your opponent attacks with that Digimon. That with the Raidenmon, honestly, is already insane. Raidenmon is when any of your version 5 traits suspend. You digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, which is cracked. It also has collision and blocker. So like if you decide to play Machine Dramon with these cards, like that's really good. I mean, I think that's kind of like really good. But obviously that's the version 5, so it kind of sucks talking about version 5 because we already knew version 5 was good. What we really want to talk about is something that's not version 5, but we wouldn't know because we don't have. This is just the first wave of support. The Titamon Ace, I like that. Wait, no, that's version 5, isn't it? No, that's version 4. All right, cool.
Version 4, right?
Yeah, so Titamon Ace, version 4. It looks like a solid archetype. All we need is a little bit more support. And look at Datamon and Raidenmon. They don't make Machine Dramon or version 5 like insane, but they definitely make it a hell of a lot better. You know, they don't make it worse.
Nah,
They don't.
the new Shin Monzimon and the Monzimon for version 1.
Oh, yeah.
Goated cards.
Yeah, that Shin Monzemon is cracked. That's a Sec +1 armor purge that when your version 1 with Digivolve, reduce cost by 2, so it's going to be a 3 cost Digivolve on your version 1. And then when you trash its bottom face down Digievolution, you Chaos Egg something. But it can be yours or your opponent's Digimon, so you can use it defensively to recover, or you can use it offensively to get rid of threats, especially threats that have protection from deletion or from bounce. They don't have anything that say that when this card would leave the battle, you know, like we wouldn't know until we get those future support cards. So it's really nice, really cool to see those come out. That there's a lot of versatility, I think, in every card in EX9, or almost every card.
Agreed.
Almost every card. So I'm very, very enthused for EX9 come this week. Wait. Yeah, it is this week.
This week.
Oh, it seems like I won't be getting any cases, unfortunately. As I think about it, I would have heard by.
You're not?
No, I would have heard. Because if it releases this Friday, I would have heard today. Yeah, I'm checking my phone. I don't see anything. Yeah, I am actually big sad about that. But you know what? That gives me more money to spend on singles. So I am not entirely lost. But I've always said this. I love the versatility of decks. And I'll end podcast on this note. Sorry, Dan. I've been getting into, like I said, other card games. Let's not look at One Piece, because I think One Piece decks are fairly straightforward. One Piece is a very simplistic
basic
game. It is very basic, yeah. One Piece is one of those. It's a low. What do they call it? Low floor
to the ground, high reward.
High. Not even low to the ground. It's a low floor. Yeah, low floor, high ceiling game. Anybody can pick it up and play, but to be really good at the game, like it does have a higher skill ceiling than Digimon, and that is just because there's a lot of interaction. There's a lot of math. There is. You have by sheer power, the counter power that you have in hand, as well as the different, like, what do they call it? Event cards that you can play. And depending on like what the leaders do, it's a very high skill level game. Digimon is, I would say it's like mid ground on both, like mid floor, and then like a slightly higher ceiling in terms of skill level and playing the game. Like, you definitely have to have matchup knowledge. You have to know your deck, and knowing your opponent's deck is very good. But sometimes if your deck is going to do a thing, it's just going to do the thing, and you're just going to call it a day. But what I was going to say is Grand Archive. Grand Archive is like open in terms of deck building. There are, I honestly would, like, there are good decks for sure. There are solve decks, but because in Digimon you have to make, you have to build a cohesive deck. Your deck has to follow the color of your Digi-Egg. In One Piece, your deck has to follow the colors of your leader. In Grand Archive, your deck can include anything you want. You're just restricted from playing certain cards depending on what cards you play in your material deck. If you put this Spirit of Fire on the field, you are allowed to use Spirit of Fire, or you're allowed to use fire cards. As you level up, if your champion has a different element, like if it has Crux, for example, that's like purple Dan, kind of like necromancy in a way. Or not, that's probably wrong to say. Let's say like spiritual shit, right? You can now use fire, and you can use Crux elements. You can still include other cards if you want. Those other cards might help you in one way or another. And because it's so open-ended, and especially because it's a 60 card deck and not 50, there is so much room for deck exploration, for combos, for just a lot of different room for different things. If you guys are interested, you can go check out gameplay videos and you can see. But that's what excites me. That's what I'm excited for. Some of the future of Digimon. That's why I generally gravitate towards decks that are a little bit more open-ended. And I, outside of like, I mean, even Red Hybrid's kind of open. They don't have a solve build. Like, we play the same core cards. But you can choose to play Emperor. You can choose to play Ancient. You're still going to achieve the same game plan at the end of the day. But you do have flexibility. Do you want to play Crimson Blaze or do you not? Do you want to be a little bit more defensive in what your deck is doing? Or do you just want to say, brr, I'm going to punch my opponent in the face as much as possible? I was playing Red Hybrid without Atomic Inferno because I was just doing Ancient Grey bullshit. And I was just trying to spam Ancient Grey every turn. And now I play Red Hybrid with Atomic Infernos. And I'm trying to punch face every turn for some security. Like, there's a little bit of versatility in the way that you play, both in terms of play style, but also interacting with your opponent, that you don't necessarily get to have with some other decks. And we wouldn't have those options if some decks didn't get support all the time. Red Hybrid has gotten support, not as much as the other protagonist decks. But, I mean, there's a lot of Agunimons.
They got a decent amount of stuff, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, they got it in a row. Like,
we got BT12, BT17,
well, they had the
BT18.
Yep.
We don't count the OG version. BT12, 17, 18, and 21.
No, when did the Warper Tuku, the first Warper Tuku come out?
I know, that was BT7.
Okay.
Oh, wait, do we have an Agunimon? No, we had a BT. We were still playing the BT4 at that point in time. So, but still, all right, let's just say BT4 and then 12, 17, 18, 21. And
sounds about right.
It's probably not going to see anything for a bit because the next 3 sets are going to be video game sets.
Game related.
But like, we're definitely going to see things that do get support for 3-4 consecutive sets. And that's okay. It's okay. As long as Bandai keeps doing their thing. Yes, we do want Bandai to support other things just a little bit better. But
well, the cool thing about 3 game sets in a row outside of the EX sets, we're not going to talk about the EX sets separate.
Yep.
Yeah, we have no idea what they're going to put into them. Outside like the idea of, all right, they're going to be, you know.
It all depends on who the protagonists are.
Memory. Hacker's memory is the same as CS. We don't know what we're going to be. We know Royal Knights are going to be in there, sure, and we know that
Hudimon
is going to be in there, right? That's about
Hootie
it.
boy.
They can really go all over the place. Clearly, they did that in CS in the 22 because you had Appmon, you had DM, you had a little Appmon, a little DM, you had CS in it, and a little bit of Liberators as well. So you just never know when these sets come out. Sure. It's 3 game sets, but you never know. They might throw in a Agunimon because Agunimon was in. I think you could get a Agunimon in one of them.
I mean, I'm sure you can, right? Because you can with how much Digimon they said they were going to be in Time Sleuth. I think it was like 450.
I'm sure you can get a Agunimon in it. I'm sure of it. I don't remember.
Oh, sorry, you were just talking about Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory. Yeah,
Cyber Sleuth. I don't remember if you did or not.
I would say you probably can't. I would say you probably can't, right? Because it's a hybrid Digimon. If they probably weren't exploring that route,
because they had armors in it and stuff. So I swear they had. I could be tripping, but I thought it was like a Goonie plus Lobo, and that was it. I don't remember right now.
Gotcha. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say like when Tom Stranger comes out, we already know that's gonna be all over the world. We have no idea what that's going to be. We got 15 new Digimon and Time Strangers, so they're probably most likely going to be in the card game too.
Yep. Oh, you can guarantee that they will. So yeah, the crux of the argument is it is okay that we're getting support for decks consistently. Reoccurring support for meta decks. I, as a Royal Knights fan, I'm very happy for that. That I don't have to now wait X amount of sets for support again. Just trust in Bandai. I think they're doing a pretty decent job right now in terms of support creating archetypes, supporting archetypes. We'll really see how things turn out when BT22 is fully unveiled, and when we get our next ban list, which I would expect at this point in maybe 2 months' time, right, Dan?
September? Is that what you're saying? Probably in September?
Like August, September-ish, which would be on the release of BT23.
23?
Hacker's Memory. So
sounds about right.
Just trust. Trust me, bro. Anyways, that is it for today's episode of DigiPod, the digital podcast. If you guys like this episode, please do drop a like, drop a comment, let us know what you thought. What do you think about Dex getting constant support? Do you agree with us or do you disagree? And also subscribe so that you know when future videos come out. But thank you guys for listening. And until we talk to you guys the next time, peace out.
Catch you on the next one.